Diez Días, a story by Brian White. Most people study abroad hundreds of thousands of miles across the world. Most people go for several months to a few years. Most people fly for more than 10 hours to get to a country, but not I. Only 90 miles from my home country, but I was still nervous, happy, and sad, and as ready as I've ever been to be in Cuba. It was my first time being in a new environment, performing Afro-Cuban dance and drumming, speaking a new language that only the locals understood, and leaving a place I called home. I learned of my African ancestry in a place that I would not expect to, visualizing African and Cuban cultures blending in the past through Afro-Cuban slave museums, to spending hours in class learning how to beat Cuban troubadours influenced by African congas, to following the Afro-Cuban instructor as we moved slowly to the pace of the rumba dance. I could feel my identity phasing out through my new experience as a visiting student in Cuba. There was something so different about this place, almost as if I had stepped back into the 1950s and loved it. Almost 70 years in the past, and I still felt just as comfortable as I was in the present day. In Cuba, I was learning what the U.S. was missing the more and more I traded conversations with the locals. The words, "We give what we have, not what we have left," echoes from the many Cuban voices I've encountered during my stay. Walking through the streets of Cuba, seeing the locals smiling and holding hands everywhere without being consumed by technology or engaging in hate gave me the feeling of hope and just made my experience as a visitor even more special. In Cuba, I was beginning to notice that we were missing a basic level of love in the U.S. Not only that, but in my short 10 days in Cuba, I had transitioned from a student visitor to becoming a native, sculpting my identity as if I was in my home country, overwhelmed by love from new friends and faces all around. Through it all, I picked up a piece of Cuba that will forever be with me, through the beauty, the friends, and the memories I'll share forever. And this is how my short 10 days abroad went.
Doesn't matter where we are never far apart. No, doesn't matter where we go. When I'm with you, I am home. I am home.
The words, "We give what we have, not what we have left," will always be with me. Thank you for listening.